You're now entering the LuxCore Studios. And you've secured a seat for the Protecting Your Radius podcast. Here, we build connections from your contracting profession to some of the top bleeding edge products and services. Don't get deterred. Let's not delay. Here is your host, Nathan Downs.
Hey, what's up? Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Protecting Your Radius podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Downs, and in the studio today, we have the chairman of the 2024 FenceTech Committee for the American Fence Association, Mr. Randy Ward. Randy?
Hi, guys.
Welcome. So, Randy, we're all en route right now. Like, we are on a plane on the way to FenceTech. Some of you guys are traveling as well, picking up this episode in an airport, in the car, whatever that is. So you are not necessarily the people we're talking to today, but we're going to talk to everyone else. I wanted to share one other message because I think this is my 10th FenceTech in a row or something like that. I think the only one I haven't gone to since Las Vegas in 2013 or 2014. 2014 was the one that we canceled.
Yep.
Right?
That was Nashville.
So I guess this is 9 or whatever. But anyway, it was Nashville, wasn't it? So, Randy, I understand the value of this. I knew the first time that I went that there was a lot of things that I could take away professionally. I knew a lot of people. We were kind of talking about this earlier today. I knew a lot of people from Ameristar, being a sales rep, covering such a large territory, interacting with so many different people out there in the industry, whether it was a fence company, whether it was a gate company, whether it was an architect, an engineer, developers, general contractors. I mean, I talked to every freaking person that would listen about Ameristar and their products, right? I mean, that's kind of my job, right? So with that being said, there's a lot of people that this year chose to maybe not come or invest in themselves for this. And I'll kind of let you take it from there. But like Robbie, even your son, you understand the value of big events. You understand, like, I don't have to sell you on that.
Right.
You don't have to sell me on it, but there's going to be people out there that just don't feel the value or really understand the magnitude of what something, especially like FenceTech being the biggest, the oldest, and all the things that it brings. Like, man, you're the chairperson. Like, you're the guy. So what do you want to share with people that aren't making that journey right now?
Well, I understand. I didn't make that journey for many years myself. As you know, Nathan, I've been in the fence business my whole life. And the first time I went, I started a business in 1992, and I joined the CFCA in California and did nothing with it. It just was a plaque on a wall, a logo in the yellow pages. Back, some of you guys don't even know what those are, but it were very important 40 years ago. But anyway,
it's like Google today.
Yeah, but anyway, I never went. I didn't see the value, and I was so caught up in my own business and treading along on the treadmill, trying to get ahead. But I was looking for a piece of equipment, and they had the West Coast Fence Show in Reno, and I'd known about it, but I'd never went. So that was close. I went, and that blew my mind. Right.
Yeah, right.
And
it's a mini FenceTech.
It was a mini FenceTech. Right. Yeah. I didn't know that at the time, but yeah, it was. So my first FenceTech, in 2005, I sold my business, and we relocated out here to Oklahoma, and I was deciding to get back in the fence business. So in 2006, I bought a ticket and went to FenceTech Las Vegas. Blew my mind. Blew my mind. And I was flabbergasted. I had no idea. And then so fast forward a little bit, I started getting involved in my chapter after that. And once I became the governor of that chapter, or chapter president at the time, then we started going to FenceTech year after year after year after year. And it changed my career path.
Yeah.
I mean, it totally did. I can't hardly, I wished so bad if I could have a do-over, right?
Yeah, right.
If I could go back and be 30 years old all over again, I would have dove in with both feet, man. I mean, and I would have been a very successful fence contractor.
Sure. And I felt that, Randy, when I was at Ameristar, there was only a limited, when you have a company of 600 people, there's only a limited amount of people that can even attend,
right?
Something like this. And Ameristar comes in strong. They'll have 20 people there easily,
sure,
or whatever. But I never got an opportunity to go to a FenceTech when I was there. So to go with Brett and Cliff and push Fence Track when it was brand new and do all that stuff, it was exciting to me. But I think back to what Dan Wheeler and I have talked about, and you've even mentioned this before, it allowed me to really understand how much bigger the industry was. Mm-hmm. Like it was bigger than what I saw every day.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's bigger than our town. It's bigger than, our company and all the minutia that we deal with on a day in and day out basis, that there was something more to what we were doing as an industry. And as a contractor, I can tell you this for a fact, that I feel like there's so much more I've gotten out of it, especially being on the gate side, mm-hmm. And developing relationships with the Southwest Automated Securities and all these guys out there, all the vendors and manufacturers that you get to meet. But there's so much technology in the gate side. I mean, if you work on gates and do any type of access control, gate operators, you have to go every year.
You do have to go because things are changing rapidly. I mean, just evolving, I mean, it wasn't that long ago we were begging for cell phone options, right? Now they're all over the place. Now they're, it's like we were talking here a while back. It's a new thing all of a sudden to drop a internet line. But all of our lives, if you're, my age, if you're anybody 60 years old or 50 years old, you can remember putting in telephones. You had to, first thing you said, well, I got to have a phone line.
A phone drop.
Got to have a phone line.
Yep.
Well, now we just got to have an internet line. Right. But we keep going through all these phases. We don't need anything. Now we need this. And it just gets better and better and better. It's changing so rapidly.
Yep.
And you just got to be there. And I'll tell you the other thing too, you talk to these reps on the phone, if you're a, SAS or, Incon or whoever happens to be your flavor, you get to meet the big guys. You get to talk to the guys that are making the decisions. And if there's something that's been troubling you about either your service or you're looking for another application, if you're there at the LiftMaster booth or the Door King booth or whichever one it is, and there's something you would like to see in their product, those guys' eyes light up.
Yeah.
They want to hear that. If you get the opportunity to go, don't be intimidated. Go talk to these people. They're all fence guys.
Yeah.
Some of them have degrees, but they're all fence guys, and they just want to go.
You do get an opportunity to talk to them. Some of them, as some of them that watch this know, sometimes there's people like me that come up and we air our grievances. Now, I do, if I'm going to have those conversations at FenceTech, especially on the floor, I'm going to make sure that I'm not making too big of a scene. I have failed that twice. It was cordial off to the side of the booth, and then some things were said wrong to me as the contractor that I've expressly said were wrong. And then the next thing you know, here's an owner of a company and me screaming at each other.
Here comes
on the
security,
fence.
out there.
Yeah, trying to get Nathan out. That guy's a dirtbag. That may be true, but I'm sitting there going, hey, what else do I get to? But that's the case in point. Like, when else do you get to talk to the bigwigs or, stand face to face with people and say, hey, you know what? And I appreciate that so often because some of these guys like coming in just to be able to talk to them about, hey, you guys really do a great job on your products, but your customer service or your technical support is garbage. And they just like the saucer eyes. And I go, but we're coming at it from a standpoint of, I know you hear me because you're in front. You can't hide behind an email. You can't hide behind a phone. Like we're face to face, and or telling them like their greatness, like like a company like Encon or Security Contractor Services, like on any side of the house where we have these relationships to get to see the people and be like, tell Barry like, hey, of all the places that I worked with, on distribution, you guys were just the bomb. I mean, what a great people, great team, always collaborating well. On the contractor side, that matters too, because now we've got what we've seen happen over the years, and we've talked about this, is now there's all the national distributors. You got all these guys, big FSGs, the Master Halcos, the Stevens, sure, but now there's little pockets of that mom and pop distribution wholesale popping back up. Why does that matter? Well, for people like us that have been around for a minute, we know what kind of value that can bring. It may not always be a pricing thing. Maybe something different that you're missing from a big national brand or a wholesale house. However, again, we get to have these conversations. I can see like my buddy Jerry Short back in the day, like I could sit there and talk with Jerry Short from Master Halco and get in a level of like where I'm like, this guy freaking knows so much. And if I could just squeeze a little bit of information out of someone like him, holy crap. Sure. It has made me, Randy, a better fence professional just from having relationships with people like a Jerry Short, where I'm like, this guy, I mean, he knows, I'm telling you, like, Jerry. Like, I mean, these guys are been in the lumber business their whole lives. Now they're the, vice president of Master Halco, doing all that. And you're like, but that you wouldn't know that. And I wouldn't know that person unless I would have went to a FenceTech.
And that's a value of that. And don't think you won't make a difference. Any of us that have been in the access control business, we've all cussed certain manufacturers, right? Sure. And over the time. But and I'll take one that I didn't used to be a fan of, and I'll just say it because we use a lot is LiftMaster. My previous company, I wouldn't even touch one, and a lot of it was our service. I'm a guy. If you've got employees out in the field, you need them to be able to pick up the phone, talk to somebody, get a problem solved, right? Not just passed on. And I will say, LiftMaster, for one, I would say 5 years ago, not so good. Now I think they're fantastic. Yeah. I mean, you're not on hold very long. They process it, you get it done. They work good with your RMAs. They're fantastic. Well, that's from personal feedback, you know, and not just these random emails. That's face-to-face conversations that's made that difference to somebody that can make a difference, and that person is at FenceTech. Yep. And so that's one of the things I would encourage you. If there's especially on the access control side of it, and hey, even on the chain link, the ornamental, whatever, if you're frustrated with your manufacturer, when you go to FenceTech, they're all there.
They're there, yeah.
So if you've been in bed with one for a long time and you're kind of unhappy, ready for a divorce, hey man, your next mate's out there. Yep. They got a booth out there and they're ready and willing to, they want the opportunity.
Absolutely. So what do you think? There's going to be certain reasons that, especially newer, younger professionals in the industry, like it wouldn't go to something like this. What do you think? I often think, I'll share my opinion and then I'd love to hear what you think, Randy, but I often think it's either there's been a lack of information out there about what it really is. Like, what is FenceTech? How does it work? What is it? And I feel like we're overcoming that because of things like this podcast, because Correct. Of the Fence Industry Podcast by Dan Wheeler, because of My Fence Life, Dan Block, because of Joe Everest, the fence expert, and there's other guys out there doing this now too. But I feel like there's more, when we were talking the other night, me and the Dans were on an Instagram live, right? And Nick had just told me, like right as we got on, that we've already got 4,600 registrations. Right. And they know that they even pick up registrations at the site. So I'm sitting here going, holy cow. I mean, we may have 5,500 people show up when this all said and done. I mean, that feels like it's the biggest ever.
I tell you, I was on a FenceTech committee call last week, and they've sold out 113% of the show floor. And it's over 80,000 feet. Right. So, I mean, we're packed, and it's a new layout. Mm-hmm. And here's the other side of it. This thing is going to be whatever reason you want to come. If you want to come to have fun, we're having a phenomenal opening party. You've heard everybody talking about it. It is a can't-miss party. We got world-class education. There is more education at this FenceTech than ever before. I think Nick said there was over 40 classes that you can attend.
My slot is Tuesday at 3 p.m. Is it Tuesday? Yes. Tuesday at 3 p.m. I'm already starting to forget. Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, good Lord. I don't know. Actually, I'm Wednesday at 3 p.m. I said that. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. But so what's funny is I even saw that. I said, I was looking at the schedule today. And then I realized, I'm like, I'm up against 5 other classes at the same time. I'm like, y'all better show up to my class, because I looked at some of them and went, oh, I might skip my own class for that one. That one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be packed. I mean, Tony's got a 4-hour class Tuesday.
Yeah.
Matt's got a class.
I'm Wednesday at 3.
Yeah.
I'm not like remembering.
In the purple coach.
Robert Whitaker.
Robert Whitaker, he's got a class. I mean, whether it's culture, whether it's sales, whether it's like Nate teaches this incredible STAR method. There's just, it's UL 325 if you want testing, if you want certifications. It's there.
It's there.
It's there. And
because you're the chair, but did you know everyone else out there, they're doing this PGA style? And you know what I mean by that? Did you get to go to the PGA Championship?
Yeah.
When it was here? So remember, we go to the PGA Championship. Well, what does your ticket include? It included the food and drink.
Right.
Right? So this is the first time it's ever been done.
If you got the VIP, there's food and drink on the floor, and have at it.
Yeah. And I believe that VIP package I know for me and Donnie, when we signed up, I think that's included in the education package. Like there's a part of it. Yeah. So we paid, the education package is, $300-400 or whatever it is. But the fact that that's included on top and stuff, I mean, this is going to be, hey, I will tell you, my favorite experience of an event all time is going to the PGA. Now, Randy knows I'm not much of a golfer, but I do have an appreciation, as some of you guys know, for a quality production, which is why I'm so excited to be helping Robert and Chance out with the Tuesday night kickoff party.
Yeah, so awesome.
It's going to be it's unbelievable.
Epic.
It's going to be. So, but the PGA Championship, which really impressed me, Randy, that was the amount of thought that was put into the production value, and then how they corral people in the zones. So, like all these different, you have the different food at the different tents, but if you wanted cold food and you didn't want to wait for hot food, you could go in, grab a sandwich, 2 waters, you have a wristband, and you're out.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, me and my buddies that were there were like, this is awesome. And then the beer, cart's going, right. But like, then the beer cart comes up. But why I'm saying that is because there was so much, like how much more enjoyment I got out of the event, instead of having to worry about standing in line for 45 minutes. And you may have to do that anyways, but then paying $25 for, this conference center food, or, and at the PGA, it was the same thing, right? I want a hot dog or a Philly cheesesteak and a couple waters and maybe a Miller Lite or something like that. And you would wait forever, but because of the way they had it, they're just scanning you and going. I mean, it was like, I'm talking, they must have gone through thousands, tens of thousands of bottles of water, tens of thousands of hot dogs.
It was blazing hot.
I mean, it was, but it made my experience so much better. And the fact of, and I knew for a fact that I had paid more for the PGA ticket to experience that. 100 million%, I would never do it any other way. Right. Like once you get that level of service and you get that. So I'd be excited to hear what kind of feedback everyone has from the AFA on the VIP package, because, man, I can tell you I've spent too many times at conferences where I've wasted time on things and then wasted a bunch of money where I'm like, that was hey, if the lunch is terrible, at least, you didn't like pay $30 out of your pocket for it. Or
right.
Whatever.
Exactly.
But I mean, when we've been at Nashville before, I mean, everything about Nashville is off the chain.
It is. It's a great city. It's fun. It's busy. I mean, you walk down, so we're at the convention center. It's like 2 blocks from
Broadway. Yeah.
And it's all there. And I mean, it's country music, but if country music ain't your flavor, there's rock, there's all kinds of, just walk into a different bar, there's different music.
The food is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there, it's a convention center part of town when we're all downtown, and it's designed to, meet the needs of our group.
It really is. And kudos to the FenceTech people behind the scenes, Daniela and Jim and Kelly. I mean, they have. So one of the cool things about this year is after the big Tuesday party, I don't think there's anything scheduled for Wednesday night or Thursday night.
Right.
So you guys can go out with your vendors. One of the issues always has been with the vendors, and especially if you were on the board of directors and you work for a vendor or you're just so busy with your awards dinner and everything. Well, we have done that, or they did. Their brilliance. They got all that done in the mornings.
Yeah.
And so it's going Thursday night, Homeland Vinyl, having an amazing party. Wednesday night, I get to go to Morton's for the past president's dinner. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, good.
It's going to be good. And of course,
good.
I'm screaming everybody get to that party. And I tell you, our keynote, a lot of you guys don't go to the keynote. And that always disappoints me because that is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole convention. Where, of course, I love speakers.
Sure.
Since I've got into going to the FenceTechs and stuff, it goes back to all this self-improvement, the books and all the cool things that are out there to help us, all the education. But these inspirational speakers, and we went a little bit different this year. And again, kudos to Daniela. I was trying to get somebody, we couldn't get them. And she found this group of songwriters, and they're going to do songwriting on the fly, kind of like that old Mac Davis show 100 years ago. Some of you old guys like me would remember. But they're going to talk about their business. They're going to talk about their journey, and they're going to relate it to, of course, what we do. But it's going to be fun, funny, entertaining, and that'll all ramp up before we go into the show. I'm just giddy. I can't wait to go. It's going to be so much. It's going to be busy. I am going to be wore out by the time I get home.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work, guys, and you'll appreciate once you see it. If this is your first one, you'll get hooked. I remember talking to my brother. I hadn't seen him. He hadn't been to a FenceTech in a while. And we had one in. It wasn't Austin. Where was it?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yep.
And he said, "Well, I hadn't been one. They don't seem to change." I like, dude, get into it, man. I said, "This is a freaking family reunion here."
Right.
I love it. I mean, you can't. If you go to 2 or 3, you have to make an effort to see the show because you see somebody you hadn't seen in a year, and you sit down and you catch up and you catch up and you catch up. Or you get involved with you see a new product and you're fascinated by it and they can't wait to tell you about it. And all the software that's out there, all the software, those guys are all going to be there, you know? So, there's lots of changes in our software world with CFS changing, that's, now they're not the only big dog anymore, right?
Right.
So
right.
There's lots of opportunities. And again, if you're somebody that likes to support the little guy, there's an opportunity there. The little guy's out there.
Yep.
Joe Everest is out there with his OZ Wireworks and his OZ store, you got smaller distributions that aren't part of the big groups anymore, and those guys, the only way they want service. They know they can't always beat on price, so they're gonna do service. And I tell you, some of us we're more impressed with service than we are price
anymore. Because I think it's like Donnie's mentioned on his show a million times, it's a lost art, right?
It is.
I mean, a lot of people are getting away from that. It's becoming more, as the corporate conglomerates continue to grow, it's more numbers. We're getting away from the people aspect. And I think that really plays into how they're reacting to us as consumers.
It does. And again, I think that's an opportunity. If you felt that frustration with one of your big vendors, those corporate guys are going to be at that show.
Yeah.
Go bend their ear.
Yeah.
Say, hey, man, how come my buddy doesn't work there no more? I know he didn't do nothing wrong. He was, talk Talk to them about it. Have a conversation.
Right.
What the heck? You know, you guys used to be my favorite place to go. I don't know you anymore.
Yeah. Why'd you lay off half my office?
Yeah.
And
Have
then
that conversation.
now I have no customer service anymore, so I don't buy from you. So,
and that happens. And, you know, these guys, to be fair to them, they don't understand it because they don't see it.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that have come into that corporate world. They're brand new to the fence business. They're good people, but look, guys, the fence business, we are different. If you talk to Michael Reed, he's been in our executive director. His whole career has been in association work.
Right.
And again, you talk to some of these new corporate guys that are involved, they're like, oh my gosh, this industry is so much different. They're so much more relational. And they need to hear that so they can adapt. They don't want to run us off. I mean, they need to keep us to keep their numbers, but they need to know why we're not coming back,
right? So
they can fix it, you know.
And as some of you that are working for some of these larger companies, if you catch this message as you're going into FenceTech, I would challenge you guys to reach out to us as contractors.
100%.
I mean, you know, we're out there walking up and down. You know, I always find it funny, especially last year after starting to do the podcast, and some people, you know, there was several of you guys out there that are manufacturers or wholesalers who knew who I was. And they wanted, I know for a fact, I could think of 3 off the top of my head. I won't call them out, but they wanted to talk to me as I was going around the booth. But for whatever reason, their reps didn't talk to me like I was going to like interview them or put them on the podcast. We weren't doing that, you know, but I just thought it was funny because I think you have to remember us as contractors, like we're showing up there to get better ourselves. So you should never feel embarrassed or don't ever be worried about, I mean, just say, hey, how's it going? You know, need any help? I mean, you know, I think that's a lost art too. It is very often that you'll find a lot of these smaller manufacturers there that are just hanging out, chilling in their thing. Maybe somebody needs it. And I get that, but there's still things we could do because there are so many products that I could walk by your booth and not even know it's something I need. And then you may say something or I may see something just by, hey, how's it going? And I have tunnel vision at trade shows because often I know where I'm going. Like anymore,
sure.
I've gone enough and I think I did this in Oklahoma City, Randy. I was walking down an aisle and I was on my phone, tunnel vision, did not. And someone said hi and they did vinyl accessories. And they had an actual one that worked, like solar caps, but then they also fit ornamental.
Oh.
So they're like, hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, good. And then, what is that? and so here's me.
For over 30 years, Southwest Automated Security has been the premier provider of gate operators, access controls, CCTV, and so much more. Visit southwestautomated.com today. Taking dealers to the next level.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
spinning around going, hey, what is this?
Dude, do we not need a full 6-inch solar cap, lighted solar cap?
Right. Like, look at Brenda's house.
Like
we were just Brenda's.
So I found some.
Well, did you see how what Keith did?
Yeah.
So he had to glue in one that didn't fit, but he glues it on, right? And that's what, again, but so there's a manufacturer there that can produce those things, that has them already. I know, right? And like I said, I was tunnel vision. I was not wanting to talk to these, whatever you scrubs. I'm walking down there, but the guy, to give him credit, the guy said, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, it's great. It's just, that's what FenceTech always reminds me of. And then, of course, as we've talked, over and over again about developing relationships, meeting people, networking, I have a much higher level of respect for some of these guys. And in my presentation Wednesday, Randy, I showed you the presentation and ran through it already. But at the end of my presentation, I talk about 3 guys that have impacted me personally. And all of this comes from either FenceTech directly or our
chapter.
Our chapter or interactions online that lead back to things that we've done in the association together. And then just mentorship from people that are further down the line. And those guys, little secret here. Like, Matt Warner is one of them that is just taking me under his wing, and we don't talk as much as we used to. Actually, Matt, we never talk anymore, but that's, you can call me back someday. But he's busy, right? Like, I ain't going to run him down, but then the David Gatto, man, his story, just everything about him, he encourages me every day. And then Josh Glover, you and I were talking about that. I think that personally, the two smartest people in the fence industry are probably Bobby Batchelor with Seegers and Josh Glover with Mr. Fence of Florida. There are a ton of brilliant people in our industry. As you know, Randy knows way more people than I do that have been around a long time that you won't ever see on these podcasts. You won't ever hear from them, but they are, kind of like a Bobby. I mean, he is a silent stalker. This dude is so freaking smart. I'm like,
and
man,
one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet.
My gosh, man, incredible. But that is the essence and the power of something like this, Randy, is that we get to meet and introduce ourselves to people like this that I would have never developed relationships with any of these guys, and maybe even don't even have a direct relationship, but just because of FenceTech and being around that environment where there's that shared camaraderie and everything, it just kind of makes it easier to talk to each other when we get to.
And I tell you, once you go to FenceTech and somebody approaches you about the AFA and you go, what's good's the AFA for me? What's it going to do for me? How's that going to make any money? You'll have some answers. You'll see what the AFA does. And you're going to want to be a part of it because this is the American Fence Association's key event. And they have been doing this for over 60 years. 60 years.
Yeah.
They have been putting on these conventions. And, in 21, we had to cancel because of, they shut the country down and everything. And it was a big hit, but this was where we were supposed to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
So we're just pulling out all the stops. We've had these young people get involved. Robert and Chance, they threw that epic party last year on their own, got some sponsorships. Because of their relationships, they were able to team up with the AFA and pull our resources and with their sponsorships. And I'd like to know what you guys think. When if you're not hurting too much to get up Wednesday morning, it's going to be amazing.
Man. It's going to be awesome. Well, the good thing is we've been talking about it on all the shows. There is a finite amount of time. I want to say it's 6 to 10:30 that we have on the 4th floor of the convention hall.
Correct.
For this. So at 10:30, it is a hard drop dead, y'all getting out. Now, let's not be wrong. Tootsies and stuff is literally maybe like a football field away. So there will be a lot of us out. We need to call some of the bars and give them a heads up. Maybe at 10:30, 10:45, you'll have 1,000 people show up. Wait, what? Yeah, I know. Sorry. But man, I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited for you guys. Safe travels for everyone listening to this as you're getting into town, flying in, driving in, doing all that stuff. Weather's going to be cold. It's just what it is. Welcome to Tennessee in January. I will tell you guys too, if any of you guys in the Nashville area, if you can drive there, and Friday, the show's up. It's a short time. The show's open from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. But you won't need no badge or nothing to come in. You just come in. We welcome you to, if a lot of you guys that are, because it is a fee to get in. Sure. A lot of the guys working on the trucks don't get to come, unfortunately, and that's just But if you're in the Nashville area or I don't care where you are, if you can get there Friday, you just come in and you're welcome to come. We want you to be there and get to experience the tail end of the show. All the vendors will still be there, and it'll be a blast. And we'd love to meet you. So excited. Well, you guys heard it here from the committee chairman of FenceTech 2024, Mr. Randy Ward. Thank you for getting on here today. Very welcome. Sharing some of your wisdom and knowledge. And man, we hope to see each and every one of you out there at FenceTech. If you don't know us through the podcast, whatever, come on by, say hi, holler at us. I'll be emceeing the Tuesday night kickoff party with Mr. Robert Whitaker of Purple Coaching and Consulting, Magnolia Fence Patio. And man, we've got, the sponsors are just stacked up. Yeah. There's some, the key people though, that we cannot forget about is our master Halco wood defender, who's a sponsor of our show as well. We got D&D Technologies. And then, of course, who's the fourth one? I just lost it right there.
Yeah,
Alta.
I would have said it 5 minutes ago.
Alta Forest Product.
Yes,
we buy all of our
Alta,
cedar.
Alta,
Good
Alta.
night. Of course, I would forget the one that I use.
Dave Gokenauer, we're so sorry.
and literally, Randy, like earlier today, was like, "Well, all you use is Alta pickets." I'm like, "That's a factual statement."
Yep.
So,
and a lot of minor sponsors, a lot of contractors have. They've all purchased these guitars. You'll see on the wall. It's going to be really cool. One last plug,
cool. Yeah,
Nathan. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So, and I'll finish with this. If you're a veteran, if you're a woman-owned business, if you're young in the business, we've got up on the party at the party. We're going to have our special interest groups up there.
Oh yeah.
And the women in fencing will have a booth, and there'll be gobs of you there, and you don't have to be a woman to come. I mean, everybody's welcome. The young fence professionals, and we've worked on really hard this year for the veterans in fencing, and that's going to be a real sobering. Those guys are doing some really good work. They've got involved with some charities that is going to definitely. They want to make an impact in the veterans. The suicide rate in veterans is over the top. Sure. And we've got, a couple guys, it's all their heart. Yeah. And Brian Boutte, it's his passion. This is his brainchild. And props to you, Brian, for getting this going. And please come. Take some time to go there and meet everybody and find your niche, man. Where we grow, where we belong, where we succeed, whatever all of our taglines are. Yep. Man, they're brilliant. And come on, guys.
We're excited.
See you Monday.
Randy. See you this week, friends. Holler at us. We'll be around. Peace.
You've been listening to the Protecting Your Radius podcast from the LuxCore Studios in Bixby, Oklahoma. Thanks for sticking around, and connect with us and all of our partners at www.protectingyourradius.com. We want to thank our premier partners. LuxCore, the newest line of premium quality composite infill to slide into your FenceTrack fence system. Frame your style today. Also, StainTrack, the world's first patented standalone stain machine. Utilizing flood coat technology, StainTrack covers boards, pickets, posts, and any type of dimensional wood you can think of. And what better way to use your StainTrack machine than to use the easy application Wood Defender family of stains. Wood Defender goes on easy and covers in one coat with no back brushing. And of course, the true power of our show is you, the listener. Please rate and review our show on whatever platform you consume this content. Your 5-star likes and reviews help other contractors get the message that we all want to be better and do better. And in the construction world, we can never forget that before you can be great, you've got to be good. Before you can be good, you've got to be bad. But before you can even be bad, you've got to try.